In a small village nestled between the rolling green hills and a wide, flowing river, there lived a boy named Ifanyi. He was known throughout the village not for his wealth, strength, or noble birth, but for his hardships. Ifanyi was the poorest child in the village. His parents had passed away when he was very young, leaving him in the care of his frail grandmother, Mama Udoka. They lived in a tiny hut with a leaking roof, and every day was a struggle to find food. While other children went to school, Ifanyi spent his days working fetching firewood for the village women, helping farmers tend their crops, and sometimes fishing in the river, hoping to catch something for his grandmother to eat. Despite his hardship, Ifanyi never complained. He was kind-hearted, always ready to help those in need, even when he himself had little. Many in the village pitied him, but others mocked him, calling him Ifanyi the beggar. One evening, as the sun painted the sky in shades of orange and gold, a weary old man entered the village. His robes were tattered, and his face was thin from hunger. He knocked on several doors, asking for food, but the villagers turned him away. "I have only enough for my family," one said. "I cannot waste my food on a stranger," another muttered. The old man sighed and continued down the dusty path until he reached Ifanyi's tiny hut. The boy had just returned from the river, carrying a small basket with 2 yams, a gift from a kind farmer. As he sat beside his grandmother, ready to prepare the meal, the old man approached. "Please, young one," the man said weakly, "I have not eaten in days. Could you spare some food for an old traveler?" Ifanyi looked at the 2 yams. It was all they had for the night. He hesitated for only a moment before nodding. He handed 1 yam to the man and said, "Sit down, Grandpa. Eat and rest." The old man smiled warmly and ate the yam with gratitude. After finishing, he turned to Ifanyi and said, "You have a kind heart, my son. Follow me to the river." Ifanyi was confused but curious. He helped his grandmother settle in for the night and followed the man through the village, past the whispering trees, and to the riverbank. The moon had risen, casting a silver glow on the water. The old man pointed at a small fish swimming near the shore. It shimmered faintly in the moonlight. "Catch it," the man instructed. Ifanyi hesitated. The fish was too small to eat, but something about the man's voice made him obey. He cupped his hands and gently scooped the fish from the water. The moment his fingers touched the fish, it glowed brightly, transforming into pure gold. Ifanyi gasped and nearly dropped it. The old man smiled. "Because you gave when you had nothing, you have been blessed. Keep this fish, and whenever you need, it will provide for you." Before Ifanyi could speak, the old man vanished into thin air, leaving only a soft echo of his voice in the breeze. Ifanyi ran home, his heart pounding. He showed the golden fish to his grandmother, who gasped in awe. They decided to sell a tiny piece of the fish at the market the next day. When the gold was exchanged for a sack of yams, rice, and even a goat, Ifanyi realized the old man's words were true. The fish was a gift of endless fortune. Day by day, their lives changed. Ifanyi repaired their hut, bought warm clothes for his grandmother, and made sure they never went hungry. But he did not hoard his wealth. He shared food with the hungry, helped villagers fix their homes, and provided school supplies for children who could not afford them. People who once mocked him now called him Ifanyi the Generous. News of Ifanyi's fortune spread beyond the village, reaching the ears of Obanwosu, the greedy chief of a neighboring land. One day, the chief's guards arrived at Ifanyi's home, demanding that he hand over the golden fish. Ifanyi refused. "This is a gift of kindness, not greed." The chief was enraged and ordered his men to seize the fish. But when they reached for it, the fish leaped from Ifanyi's hands and vanished into the river. A great storm rose, and the chief and his men fled in fear. When the storm settled, Ifanyi looked into the river. The fish was gone, but he felt no sadness. The wealth he had gained had already changed his life and the lives of those around him. He had everything he needed. Years passed, and Ifanyi grew into a wise and respected man. Though the golden fish never returned, he continued to work hard and share his blessings. The village thrived, and no one ever went hungry again. Whenever people spoke of Ifanyi, they did not remember him as the poor boy, they remembered him as the boy who gave, even when he had nothing. And so his name became a legend, passed down through generations as a reminder that true wealth comes not from gold, but from kindness and generosity.